Hey everyone, today I want to talk about how to become your most magnetic self, even in the middle of hard seasons. So, we all go through different seasons in life, just like depending on where you live, you'll experience different seasons every couple of months. The same is true for our own lives. We move through different seasons depending on where we're going through and what chapter we're in. So sometimes we go through job loss, sometimes friendship loss, breakups, divorce, moving, creating families, and there's just so much more. Life just happens. And what if we learned how to soften into those seasons instead of resisting them? How can you become even more magnetic even through the hard seasons? What if we learned how to open our eyes to the positive aspects of what we're experiencing, even when our first reaction might be sometimes be, hey, this is bad. This thing that is happening to me is bad. So for example, the season of winter, I usually hate winter. I hate the cold. I hate that I can't go outside and be in the sunshine. I absolutely love being outside in the sunshine. And I get really cold easily, and I just don't like being cold. I love the warm. And then there's also beauty in winter. And when I slow down enough to notice it, I can focus on that beauty. I can focus on the holidays, the gathering, the family, the friends. I get to eat delicious food. Everything feels cozy, magical, exciting. I love all the twinkling lights and feeling of like something is special in the air. People are spoiling each other, giving each other thoughtful gifts, celebrating love. We celebrate love in February. And I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. I love Thanksgiving. And we're just cooking for each other. We're sharing meals. We're creating memories. We're all getting together and finding reasons to come together. And if you really tune into your body for a moment, you can feel the difference between those two perspectives, right? So one perspective feels very contracted, heavy, resistant, while the other feels very warm, open, soft, and expansive. See the perspective shift and the energy shift when I started talking about the holiday in the season. The season itself didn't change. The circumstances didn't change. What changed was where I chose to place my focus. And I think it's true for every season of life. For every season that you think is bad, there is always something beautiful waiting to be discovered within it. There is always a lesson, a projection of your own inner world ready to be seen and ready to be healed. An opportunity, a redirection, a gift, a moment of growth and deeper connection to yourself and your self-love. And there has to always be something good to something bad. It's a universal law. Life is always seeking balance. And when our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and our actions are not aligned with our highest self, with that balance, we become disconnected from that balance, right? So we move away from the energy of unconditional love and into more fear, limitation, self-judgment, resentment, shame, or lack. Sometimes these patterns come from limiting beliefs that we pick up as children, and sometimes they come from childhood wounds or painful experiences. So they can even come from small incidents that happened to us. So we think of trauma as like something huge that happened, but no, they can be like small things that happened to us as children, but it created like a big emotional response within us. So I'll give you an example. So maybe your parents dismissed you when you were trying to show them something that you felt was important, something that you worked hard on. And as an adult, we might seem like it's something small, but to your child self, it felt like you weren't important, like you weren't seen. And it created this big emotion. And from that emotion, a belief was formed of, oh, I'm not important enough, or I'm not seen. And then it becomes like a domino effect from there. Then what happens is you go to school and something might happen where you don't feel chosen, you don't feel seen. Maybe some kids leave you out, or you don't get chosen to play with. Then as we get older and maybe we start dating, we feel like the person that we're interested in isn't fully choosing us either. And those situations, they all continue to happen throughout our lives, and they reinforce that original belief and over again, making it even stronger and stronger. And before you know it, we're no longer seeing life through the lens of what's actually happening. We're seeing it through the lens of a belief that was created years and years ago by a younger version of ourselves who was simply just trying to make sense of the world. And sometimes we're being so incredibly hard on ourselves in an area of life that can cause reflections as well. That can get us out of balance with unconditional love. Sometimes we're maybe abandoning ourselves. Maybe we made a promise to ourselves and we're not going through with those promises. Maybe we're settling, overgiving, people pleasing, or feeling deeply unfulfilled in life. Whatever the source may be, these are all signs of inner wounds that are asking for our attention. And so these reflections have to happen for us to see what needs healing, because life is always leaning towards healing. Those wounds don't stay hidden forever. When they're ready to be seen, they will be right in front of our faces. They eventually get reflected back to us through our outer world, through matter that is around us. So the person that's in front of you and whatever you were paying most attention to, because that's the only way it can really get our attention. So we can see, oh, okay, I have something within me that needs attention. I'm getting this reflection. It's not for punishment, and it's not because life is against us, but because life loves us enough to show us what still needs healing within us. Everything in life is, like I said, leaning towards healing. You get a broken bone, it heals itself. You get a cut, it heals itself. Inner wounds work the same way. When you're out of balance, that's the inner wound. And I teach my clients how to spot them, how to find the root cause, and how to really heal it and shift it. Not just put a band-aid over it, but really get to the root of it and shift it. And think of it like a mirror. The people, the situations, the circumstances in our lives, they often reveal something that's happening within us. Anytime that we get triggered, annoyed, upset, even happy, okay, so we can even get good reflections. And that's what we want to keep creating more of. But here is the tricky part. The place where the projection shows up is usually not the root cause of the problem. So it's just simply there for the lesson to be visible. So for example, maybe say you experience a breakup because you feel like the man wasn't fully committed to you. Maybe he was, talking to other women or something like that. Most people will just focus entirely on him and the relationship. A lot of women, myself included back then, before I even knew any of this work, would blame the guy. And I would take no responsibility for why I even attracted that into my life, why I was even a match for that, why I was attracting that into my life. We all are a common denominator of what happens in our life. Many women will focus on just his action, his behavior, his lack of commitment, and we try to focus on the relationship only. And while those things are important, there's often something deeper that is there that needs to be seen. There's something deeper that we need to question that's available for us to explore. So listen up, guys. I want you to ask yourself, where am I not fully committed to myself? Because where the problem is showing up is not the root cause. The root cause is actually in a totally different area of your life. So there's 8 areas of life. And the root cause that manifests this is not where you're seeing the reflection show up. You're seeing it show up in relationships because that's what you might be paying most attention to. That's what's going to get your attention. But the root cause is in a totally different area of life. And relationships isn't where the problem started. It's just where you can see it now. It's there to open your eyes and ask the deeper questions of, maybe you've been putting your dreams on hold. Maybe you've been abandoning your own needs. Maybe you've been saying yes when you really want to say no. Maybe you've been settling for less than what you really, really desire. So this is important. This is the key. The relationship is the classroom. It's there as a lesson. The experience becomes the messenger. The relationship isn't necessarily the root issue. It's the mirror pointing you towards something deeper within yourself. And when you're willing to lovingly explore that reflection, that's where the true healing begins, because you can finally get to the root cause, which is in a totally different area of life. So that's why I teach my clients how to get to the root of the wound rather than staying focused on that surface level problem. Because when you heal the root, everything begins to shift for you. Your energy shifts, your standards shift, your self-worth shifts, the way that you show up for yourself shifts, the way that you love yourself shifts. And you naturally begin to become a match for healthier experiences, healthier relationships, healthier love. And sometimes that means attracting someone new who aligns with the version of you that has healed. And sometimes that shift within you creates a shift within your current relationship as well. So either way, healing yourself changes everything. And I do want to say healing yourself doesn't mean that you're broken or something's wrong with you, or you have a bunch of trauma in your life. It just means maybe you're out of balance with unconditional love and you started being hard on yourself. You started beating yourself up. Maybe you're telling yourself that you're not doing this enough or doing that enough. Those things can also be inner wounds, and those also cause reflections in your life to happen. That needs to be shifted. Things need to be healed and create new beliefs for yourself. And when you do this work, when you know this work, oh my gosh, even the way people look starts shifting. They start looking younger, more youthful, more glowing. Even things like body ailments, aging, all of that stuff, things that happen to our bodies become reflections as well. So you can create these codes for yourself through your mind thoughts, and the actions that you take, the things that you perceive, and the beliefs that you create for yourself, what I call codes. You can actually become more youthful. You can heal your body through your mind and through the actions that you take, just by loving yourself deeper and doing this work. And what once felt like the worst season of your life often becomes the very season that brought you back home to yourself. So just as winter brings rest, reflection, and cozy connection before all the flowers bloom again, the challenging seasons of our lives are often preparing us for something we cannot see yet. And a core belief that I have is everything is always working out for me, even if I can't see it yet. And sometimes the most feminine thing that we can do is stop fighting the season we're in. Just exhale and allow ourselves to just fully experience it. You never want to spiritually bypass something that triggers you or annoys you. You don't want to immediately jump into positive thinking and simply hope for the best, but you want to actually heal it at the root. Feel it, process it, let it move through your body instead of keeping it bottled up inside. And then trust that every season has its own kind of magic. Just like how I usually hate the cold winter, there's still magic in winter. There's still magic in the holidays, the cozy moments, the slowing down, the things that only winter can bring. And we just have to be willing to look for that magic. Because when we're so focused on resisting a season, we often miss all those gifts that it's trying to offer us. And knowing this work, knowing its reflection, there's a lesson here ready to finally be seen. And that is the gift. That is the magic in each season. Each thing will make you into a more magnetic person. Something bad happens to me, great. I'm going to heal it and I'm going to become even more magnetic. I'm going to become even better after this. I'm going to love myself even more after this. I'm going to come out the other end even better because I'm growing. So maybe you're going through a very difficult chapter in your life right now. Whatever the situation is, a breakup, a divorce, a friendship loss, fighting with your husband, some kind of loss. Maybe someone wronged you, harmed you, disappointed you, or betrayed your trust. And with that comes feeling of betrayal, anger, things like wanting revenge, deep sadness, grief, loneliness, heartbreak, confusion. And all of those feelings are completely human. They're meant to be felt. They are meant to move through us. They're meant to be acknowledged, witnessed, and processed, not just shoved down, avoided, or rushed through. So you don't want to bypass them. There is wisdom in allowing yourself to sit with your emotions, to cry when you need to cry, to let it flow out of you, to grieve what was, to honor the hurt, to give your body permission to feel and feel what it's carrying. But there's also a difference between feeling your emotions, processing them, and then there's also building a home inside of them and just staying there and blaming everyone else and staying in that victim mentality. So if we stay there for months, years, or even decades, replaying those stories, reliving the pain, and only focusing on what was lost, we miss the beauty that exists alongside the hurt. We can miss the ways that we're meant to grow. We can miss the lessons being revealed to us, those reflections. Beliefs that need to be shifted. Maybe there are beliefs within us that we picked up that need to be shifted and create these new, beautiful, uplifting beliefs. And we can miss having that deeper connection within ourselves and that opportunity to just love ourselves even more on a deeper level. And have more wisdom, right? So we miss the people who are showing up for us. We can miss the strength we're building, the boundaries we're learning, the self-respect we're cultivating, and the new versions of ourselves that is quietly trying to be born underneath it all. And I know that it can be hard to hear when, maybe you're in the middle of a storm right now, because when we're hurting, our minds naturally want to zoom into that pain. And that's okay. It's there and it's meant to be felt. But two things can be true at the same time. You can still be heartbroken and healing, leaning towards healing. And you can be grieving and also growing. You can feel the sadness in your body while also remaining open to the possibilities that is the season is creating space for something more. The goal isn't to pretend that pain doesn't exist, but the goal is to just feel it fully while keeping your heart open enough to notice the gifts in it, the lessons, the growth, the magic. And for example, the season of a breakup or a painful divorce, there's an equal amount of good to it as there is bad. There has to be. It's a universal law. So don't dismiss your feelings and suppress them, but also just don't stay there. See what the reflection is, why you were even a match for this to happen. So maybe you guys broke up because you caught him talking to another girl or liking other girls' Instagram pictures or something like that. Or, checking out other girls while you're out together, or he's not fully committed to you. So you feel like you're not chosen. That's because in some area of your life, not in relationships, but a whole different area of your life, you are not choosing yourself. And the beauty in it is you get this amazing lesson because they were there to teach you that. They were the classroom. If that didn't happen to you, then you wouldn't know that you need to start choosing yourself. So it happened for a reason. So now you can start really choosing yourself, lock in on yourself. And now you get to have the beauty of even being single and focusing on your own growth and personal development. You get to excel yourself. So if you focus on the loneliness or, oh my gosh, it's his fault, there's no good guys out there, then you're not seeing the beauty of getting to know yourself in a deeper, intimate level. You get to know more about yourself and what you truly want and love and what truly makes you happy. This is what I mean when I say choosing to see the holiday in the season of your life. You now have time for yourself, time to be free, time to freely express yourself without worrying what the other person thinks, whether they approve or not approve. You have time to just be selfish and you don't have to consider anyone else's feelings. Being passionate about what you want and what you get to do and diving back into what you're passionate about. Maybe you stopped doing the thing that you love and so you can start finding that passion again. You get to water yourself, nourish yourself. You can focus on your extensive self-care routine, catching up on with your friends, your family, and people who love you. Maybe you haven't been spending much time with them, and now you can learn new skill sets. There's so much positive that you can start really focusing on through a breakup instead of just focusing on the breakup itself. And I remember when I went through a terrible breakup, I was completely heartbroken. I remember feeling like I was a failure. I didn't know any of this work at that time, but deep down, I knew that all of the heartbreak that I was experiencing would be worth it if it helped me become a better person on the other side of it. Because the truth is, staying in that relationship hurt far more than leaving it ever did. And honestly, my life really skyrocketed after that breakup. Yes, I went through the emotions. I felt sadness probably longer than, I should have. I felt the loneliness. And because I didn't know any of this work back then, I tried to fill that loneliness with even dating other men. And not that dating is bad, but I wasn't healing myself first. So I wasn't getting to the root cause of why I wasn't an energetic match for that to happen to me, where I was out of balance. I didn't look at the reflection. And so I was looking for validation outside of me. I was looking for someone else to give me that, that feeling of fulfillment, which, was within me at that time, but I couldn't see it. And I wasn't giving it to myself. It wasn't until I decided to focus on my own happiness, to pour into myself, to become the best mom that I could be, to stop making my happiness dependent on someone else, and start creating it for myself. Start becoming the best version of me. And when I did that, something happened, something shifted. I began attracting the same love, care, happiness that I was finally giving to myself without even looking for it. And that's when I met my now husband. But then, of course, I fell out of balance with self-love because what I was doing was I was becoming hard on myself. I was comparing myself to other fitness people, fitness Instagram influencers online, and I was telling myself that I wasn't enough and I had to try harder, do more to become good enough. And so that in itself is being out of balance with unconditional love. And because our relationships reflect our inner world, I started getting reflections back to me from my husband, who we were just dating at that time, where I felt like I wasn't good enough for him. But, those things happened for me to really see where I needed healing. And that's when I actually found this work. The beauty in all of the hardships that I went through is what led me back to myself. They led me back to my passion, to discovering that unconditional love, what truly looks like for me, and learning how to shift my perspective. And looking back now, I can honestly say that I needed to go through everything that I went through to get me where I am today. Every heartbreak, every challenge, every season has its lessons because each one is shaping me into the woman that I was becoming. So everything actually worked out for me. And now, honestly, if my husband ever triggers me, if we ever get into a little disagreement or anything like that, we always come out the other end even better after that, even stronger. So even if you're hating the season that you're in right now, ask yourself, what reflection is this showing me right now? When we know this work, we can pull the positive aspects out and use them to create this new version of ourselves, to create new beliefs for ourselves, to really create the life and the love that we really desire. Then that allows us to actually appreciate each season, even if it's not what we would have chosen for ourselves. Even if we think, what I'm going through right now is bad. And when we train ourselves to focus more on what we actually want in life and the beauty that is available right now, that's when we begin to experience a perspective shift. But let me tell you, that's not always easy. It's hard work sometimes. Sometimes you're going to feel frustrated. Sometimes it's going to really suck, especially when life is reflecting us. We think, oh my gosh, why is this freaking happening to me? Okay, I've been so frustrated to where I'm like, why is this happening? Why is this reflection keep happening to me? And I know, because I've been there. So when I get reflections, There have been times where I was just so frustrated and I let myself feel through it. It's important to let yourself feel through all of the emotions, but I don't let myself stay there. And I realized, okay, this is a reflection. What's the lesson here? How am I out of balance with unconditional love? Then do the work to shift it. Then I'm able to feel so much gratitude about the situation that just happened after realizing, oh, this taught me this valuable lesson and this actually helped me become the version of myself that I've been asking to become. And this also moves us more into regulation. The more gratitude we start to feel, the more we begin to notice things in our reality that reflect that gratitude back to us. Remember, what you focus on, you get more of. So what we want to focus on is really feeling gratitude through all of life's season. Because trust me, those seasons are going to come. Those hard seasons are going to come. There will be challenges. There will be moments that stretch you. There will be seasons that feel heavy. But if you can make gratitude your dominant emotional state, even after those hard seasons, you'll begin to notice more and more things showing up in your life that give you the reasons to feel more grateful. Because we get more of how we feel. Maybe more opportunities will open up. You'll start seeing lessons where you once saw setbacks. And you'll start recognizing blessings that may have been there all along, which opens you up to even more blessings. And you guys, I'm not speaking from an ignorant place. I've had my share of what I once considered bad seasons. I've experienced a lot of trauma growing up. A little bit of my story is that I went through physical and emotional abuse as a child, and I even lost my little brother due to child abuse. I carried a lot of pain into my adult life, and because those wounds were still unhealed, I attracted people and situations that brought those same emotions to the surface, which was a gift for me because they reflected back to me the hurt that was still asking to be seen and felt and healed through. And looking back now, I can see that those experiences were showing me where healing was needed. So I'm so grateful for all of those things that happened to me. And because now that I know this work, because I can feel grateful through those hard situations, I can create more things to feel grateful for. And even though those people and situations are no longer in my life, I'm just in so much gratitude that those things happened to me, and it made me into the person I am today. It made me find this passion that I really love, and I'm able to share it with you guys. I'm able to help others through it too. And because every experience carries a lesson, every challenge carries an opportunity of growth, and even the painful seasons helped shape me into the woman I am today. So you are teaching your mind to seek out the beauty, the lessons, the opportunities, and the perfection within your current experiences. And when you do that, you create space for yourself to really flourish. You become more open to receiving blessings that already exist around you, and you become available for more opportunities to enter your life. The more that you train yourself to look for the gift within each season, the more you'll begin to see those gifts reflected back to you. And when you start doing this work, you're training your attention, your brain's filtering system. It becomes more likely to notice resources, support, safety, possibilities that may have previously been overlooked when operating from stress, or resentment, or fear, or anger. And this is how it works. Everything is energy. You get more of what your dominant feeling state is. So if your dominant state is gratitude, appreciation, trust, you'll naturally begin to notice more things that align with those feelings. So you'll start seeing more beauty, more opportunities, more support, more reasons to be grateful for. Because what you consistently focus on and emotionally embody, that becomes the lens through which you experience your life. So if your dominant state is resentment or feeling unsupported, and if you're constantly looking back at the things that hurt you or the things that didn't go your way, then you may be missing the holiday in this season. You may be overlooking the beauty that was present, even if it was hidden beneath the pain. So When resentment becomes a dominant state, you naturally begin to create more experiences that reflect that same energy. But when you choose to find the lesson and look for the reflection, what your inner world is projecting out for you to see the growth and the gift in it, through all of those seasons in your life, you begin shifting your perspective. And then as your perspective shifts, so does the energy that you carry, the experiences that you attract. You no longer cling to those emotions that allows you to fully process them instead of carrying them with you. So your nervous system learns that it's safe to feel an emotion, move through it, and return to a regulated state after being dysregulated. So we actually see this in nature as well. After a stressful or a highly stimulating experience, animals will often shake or tremble. You never notice where dogs, when they shake and they tremble after getting anxious. It's one of the ways that their nervous system releases activation and it returns back to balance. So they actually complete their stress cycle. A lot of humans that we don't do that. We often feel an emotion, decide it's bad, judge ourselves for having it, and then we try to push it away or hold it in. So instead of moving through the experience, we stay stuck in it. And now it's stuck in our body. We don't finish the stress cycle. But when we learn how to work with reflections, we begin to feel supported, even through the situations that we label as bad. It allows us to feel emotions while also knowing that there's a holiday in that season. It allows us to feel the pain without making the pain the entire story. You don't have to just stay there. You move through it. So we want to do the opposite of feeling resentful or unsupported. So think of like the yin and yang symbol, meaning every darkness has light in it, and every light has darkness in it. And if something negative is happening, then something equally as beautiful has to be happening as well. And we get to choose where our energy is going. We get to choose how we see things to be. We get to choose if we want to see the glass half empty or half full. And being optimistic and being mindful of what we focus on is so important to where our emotional and feeling state will be. Our feelings create everything. We have that God-given power that was passed down to us. So we need to learn how to use it. And we can create from that. We get more of what we feel. And we all have these different season changes. So sometimes we go through single season, happy marriage season, raising kids season, travel season, house shopping season, career season, heartbroken season, going through loss season. We have all of these different seasons and all of these ups and downs. The only constant that I want you to have is your perspective. How is there a holiday in this season? And guys, once you learn the reflection and you shift out of it, you can always switch what's coming up for us. You want to focus on feeling the emotion and fully processing it, then seeing the reflection and shifting it by creating new beliefs and actions while knowing everything is actually working out for us. And maybe you're going through something right now where it's really hard to shift your perspective. Maybe you're going through a season of heartache and fear. You're feeling weighed down, overwhelmed, or hopeless. And maybe it can even be a health diagnosis. Even that can be a reflection. Just like people show up as reflections in our lives, our bodies can also give us reflections. The way that we shift our perspective is by asking ourselves, what is this reflection showing me? And then doing the work to shift out of it. This is what I teach my clients. And wherever the reflection is showing up is never the root problem. So we want to get to the root problem to fully heal. It could be things like, maybe you've been hard on yourself about finances. You feel like the world is always against you. Maybe you've been holding on to anger, stress, hurt, or resentment for years and years and years. Maybe someone hurt you in some way and you've been holding on to all of that anger. You want to get curious about the root of it, figure out how to heal it emotionally and physically, and then ask yourself, how could this actually be working out for me? Like, what positives could come from this? What is this experience trying to teach me? Maybe you haven't been paying attention to your body and now you're being forced to. Maybe you haven't been honoring yourself or listening to the messages your body has been trying to send you. Maybe you haven't been giving yourself enough time, enough care, love, attention, and now you can start doing all of that for yourself. So if you've been holding on to a lot of anger in your body, now you can begin letting it out, really processing it, feeling into it, and healing from it. Maybe this diagnosis is your body's way of asking you to slow down and pay attention, to nourish yourself, to treat yourself better, to feed yourself with beautiful words and affirmations, and not just saying affirmations that doesn't work, but actually feeling into them, creating codes for yourself, to show your body love and appreciation, to take better care of it, to be more present with it, to embrace your emotions and process them instead of suppressing them. So we can take a moment and say, wow, thank you for showing me this reflection where I needed healing, and now I need to slow down. And then see how it's going to actually work out for you in the end. Maybe you start loving yourself more. Maybe you'll end up healing. Maybe you'll find all of the solutions to healing. And maybe you'll even walk through this season out stronger on the other side. And then you can even help someone else heal too. What if you start, talking about it and sharing your story? You could help so many people. You might even help one person, or maybe 100 people, or maybe even thousands. So you see the benefit that could come from it. And when we focus on those lessons, the growth, and all of those opportunities available to us, we begin creating more space for those things in our reality. More love, more positive, more appreciation. So think about putting these cute little glittery fun glasses on, these lenses that help you find the holiday in the season. Even if you're in the middle of a snowstorm, how can you see the lights, the magic, the family time, the delicious food, the holidays? How can you find the beauty that's available even within the snowstorm? How can you see the benefit of the storm while you're still walking through it? So even when someone triggers you, maybe a stranger pissed you off, or a partner or an ex or someone who you're dating triggers you. Maybe they were checking out other girls, or they didn't call you back, or a family member made a rude joke. In the moment, we need to process it, then see the reflection. How you perceive the situation is how you're being towards yourself in some area of your life. Then you can say, wow, this is actually working out for me. How is there a holiday in this situation? Put on your cute glasses on. Okay, so I want you guys to think of it as like, you can think of any kind of glasses. I like cute, pink, glittery. Like, I like to think of it as like these super cute, girly glasses. Call it your holiday glasses or whatever it is. Positive glasses. And I then put them on and see how things are actually benefiting you and working out for you. Because the time that you are triggered, it's an emotional response to what's actually going on inside of you. They were there just as a reflection. Those people that triggered you were there to show you this reflection. It's a huge gift. And one thing I know about the brain and the nervous system is that the brain is constantly scanning for evidence. It's always scanning for if I'm safe. This happens through something called the reticular activating system, which acts like a filter. So your brain can't process every piece of information around you. So it filters your reality. If you're focused on danger, betrayal, resentment, lack, and fear, and all of the bad things, your brain becomes incredibly efficient at finding more evidence of danger, betrayal, resentment, lack, and fear. So if you keep thinking, I'm unsupported, I'm not supported, and you keep feeling unsupported, your brain starts looking for that evidence of unsupport, and you keep feeling more unsupported. And that's what your attention is trained to notice. And the opposite is also true too. So when you begin looking for opportunities, support, lessons, growth, beauty, connection, gratitude, love, your brain starts noticing those things more often. So if you keep feeling supported, if you keep looking for ways that you're supported, the more supported you keep feeling, and the more things start happening to your reality that make you feel more supported. Your nervous system begins recognizing safety more easily, and you become more regulated, more open, more available for joy, more available for receiving. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, is this: no matter what season you're in right now, ask yourself, what is this reflection showing me? And if you don't know, guys, I teach my one-on-one clients how to spot them. And once you learn this work, it cannot be unlearned. It's so life-changing. So you ask yourself, where is the holiday in this season? And not because you're ignoring the pain or bypassing it, not because you're pretending like everything is perfect and trying to be just positive all the time, and not because you're bypassing what you're actually feeling and your emotions. You want to feel it, process it, honor it, let yourself move through it, but don't stop there. Put on your holiday glasses, look for the reflection and the lesson, look for the growth, look for the opportunity, look for the beauty, and look for the magic. And the more that you train yourself to see it, the more that your mind, your body, and your nervous systems starts to work together to really find it and start noticing more support. Where maybe you felt alone, then you create more of that. You start noticing opportunities where you once saw maybe obstacles, and you start creating more opportunities. You start noticing blessings where you only once saw problems, then you start creating more blessings. So whatever you're walking through right now, I want you to remember, everything is always working out for you, even if you can't see it yet. But you got to learn the steps to find it, to heal through it, to become better on the other side. And there is a holiday hidden somewhere in that season. You just have to be willing to do the work. And for me, doing that hard work to have happiness and peace in my life far outweighs the hard work of staying in suffering and pain and then continuing that cycle. All right, guys, I love you and I really enjoyed this, and I hope you guys did too. I'll see you next time. Bye.